January 27th was the official opening of tax season and of e-filing. So yes, we need to already start thinking about our taxes. Now, for most Americans, filing taxes, of course, one of the biggest financial moments of the year, possibly one of the most stressful. And millions of Americans unknowingly miss out on the tax benefits and credits every year that they could be taking advantage of. So with me is Andy Phillips of H&R Block, Vice President of the Tax Institute, to give us some tips on making sure that we actually get all that we are due. So Andy, welcome. Great to have you. So,
Thank you for having me today.
Let's just start with the basics. When we say e-file, what exactly does that mean? How do we do that?
So what e-file is simply the ability to electronically submit your tax return to the IRS, as opposed to gathering up all your forms and mailing. And so virtually every product out there is going to offer the capability for you to electronically file. And definitely whether you work with H&R Block, whether you're working with one of our professionals, or if you're working using one of our do-it-yourself products, you will generally have the capability to electronically file. And it's definitely the preferred method for people to submit their taxes to the IRS and to their states.
Sure. And I think they get money back quicker, if I remember right, if you
Yeah.
e-file. So can anybody do it, or is it better for people with more simplified returns?
Yeah, most everyone can electronically file with the IRS. There are a couple special situations. Maybe you have a kind of rare form or a personal situation that prevents it, but the vast majority of people are able to electronically file. You talked about one of the benefits is if you submit it electronically, your return is processed much more quickly. If you do a refund, you're going to get that money more quickly, but also it's more secure. As you can imagine, it's not ideal to be mailing documents that contain you, maybe your spouses, maybe your children's social security numbers and other personal information on them through the mail. And so it is more secure and it's more convenient and it's more efficient. Absolutely.
Those documents probably have every single piece of sensitive financial information on them. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Now, so many people these days are driving an Uber part-time or delivering food or Instacart. Can they also e-file?
Yes, they can. And since you asked about that, folks in that situation that maybe have a side hustle and are maybe selling items or selling services through an online marketplace, like maybe an Etsy, or even selling like tickets on a StubHub, or who are providing services and taking payments through what we call a third-party payment app. Think like a PayPal or a Venmo that allows you to get payments right through your cell phone, for instance. For 2024, if you're one of those people and you had $5,000 or more in gross receipts, meaning in money you received through one of those marketplaces or platforms, you're going to receive what's called a Form 1099-K. For a lot of people, this is going to be the first time they get that. Why that is because the threshold for prior years was much higher. It was, you had to have $20,000 and over 200 transactions, whereas this year you say, okay, well, $5,000 and no transaction limits, and it's actually going to keep going down over the next couple years. So that's a great opportunity to say, well, one, new form, what does it mean to me? But making sure that you understand that there's probably items you can deduct to reduce the face amount of that 1099-K, so you're not paying tax on the full amount.
Okay, well, let's talk about that then. Like, what are some things that those people should look for that they may be able to deduct?
Yeah, so let's just give two really simple examples. You sell something online. It could be you had a garage sale and you're just selling stuff from your house, or you make like some sort of craft good. Either way, you either paid something for that, or if you produced it yourself, you had expenses in creating that, that piece of property. You get to deduct those from like the sales proceeds to get to your taxable income. On the other hand, if you're providing services like you have a small business, right? And you just take payment through Venmo and PayPal for convenience of yourself and your clients, in that situation, you definitely have expenses in the production of those services. It may mean you have certain supplies or you have vehicle expenses. You may have, hired help, you hire contractors, but all those things you should be tracking and deducting to make sure you get it right. Here's the beauty of H&R Block. No matter whether you want to file on your own or with the help of a professional, not only can we help you make sure you get it right for this year, but people think about taxes as like this. Look back on last year. I do my tax return and I'm done. this is the time where people should also be making a plan for 2025 and making sure, hey, it was really tough to reconstruct my records, and I probably left some money on the table with some receipts this year or last year. Let me correct it for this year. So this is a really important time, not just to look back, make sure that you get that tax return right, make a plan for next year.
Okay, good idea. Now, there's also a lot of talk about direct file. Is that different than e-filing?
Direct file is different than e-file. So what direct file is, it started last year. The IRS launched basically a DIY program that you can file directly with them. Look, it is one of many free options on the market, and it's kind of a limited one. It's available in about like half of the states right now, about 25 states, limited to specific scenarios. And last year, for example, only about 140,000 people used it. By comparison, H&R Block's DIY product alone, we had nearly 3.5 million people file for completely free with us. Nearly 55% of people can file for free using our DIY product. In addition, our free is really expansive. We offer over 40 forms and situations that are supported. And by comparison, I may be biased, but I'm pretty confident we've got the best on the market. And just for a simple example, with direct file last year, the refund was a little under $900 for their product. By comparison, using our free service, the average refund was around $1,500.
Wow.
In addition, you may get in there and say you need help. Not only do we have the guarantees to stand behind our software and our work, we've got people standing there at the click of a button to help you when you need it.
Okay. And finally, one last question, Andy.
Yeah.
With the new administration, do you think there'll be any changes to the tax code this year or coming up?
Yeah, look, President Trump and some key members of Congress have said they want to revisit some of the tax code changes that were made during President Trump's first administration. What we know is a lot of the provisions, particularly those that apply to individuals and small business owners from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which was passed during his first administration, are going to expire at the end of 2025. Something is going to change. What we don't know is what.
Yeah.
What I can tell you is, when things change, people often need help. For 70 years, this is our 70th birthday this year at H&R Block. We've been here to help people with their questions and things they need. So if you're unsure about what any of these changes mean to you, it may be a good time to seek help.
Yeah, no, I have found in the past that it is good to have help with this because there are things you just don't think about. And I'm a financial reporter and I forget about some of this stuff. So Andy, thank you so much. Such great advice. So happy tax season.
Thank you so much for having me today and have a happy tax season.
Thanks.